Jacob Harrison and Emily Rose grew up in a starkly different world. Jacob was the heir to the Harrison's family fortune, living in a mansion in the upscale part of the town. His father, Robert Harrison, was a powerful business magnate who owned several successful companies. Jacob's upbringing was marked by privilege, private schools, and an expectation that he would follow his father's footsteps. Emily, on the other hand, was raised in a modest home on the other side of the town. Her father, Mark Rose, worked as a mechanic, and her mother, Linda, cleaned houses to make ends meet. Emily's childhood was defined by financial struggle, but also by strong family bond and a relentless work ethics instilled by her parents. Their path crossed one fateful day at a local university where both were studying despite their different backgrounds. Jacob was initially drawn to Emily's genuine kindness and her determination to succeed. Emily, in turn, was captivated by Jacob's intelligence and his unpretentious nature despite his wealth. Their friendship blossomed into a romance that neither of them could have predicted. They spent countless hours talking about their dreams, their fears, and the lives they hoped to build. However, they were actually aware of the challenges their different backgrounds could pose on their relationship. Jacob and Emily's relationship grew stronger with time, but not without obstacles. Jacob's family was skeptical of Emily, seeing her as someone who didn't belong in their social circle. His mother, Margaret Harrison, was particularly vocal about her disapproval, often making harsh remarks about Emily's background. Jacob, my darling, you need to think about the future, Margaret would say. Emily may be a lovely girl, but she doesn't fit into our world. Despite the pressure from his family, Jacob stood by Emily, insisting that their love was what mattered most. Mom, Emily is the best thing that has ever happened to me. I'm not letting her go, he would say. On the other hand, Emily faced skepticism from her own family. Are you sure about this? Emily's mother would ask. His world is so different from ours. I know, Mom, Emily would reply, but Jacob makes me happy. He sees me for who I am, not where I come from. Their love endured, and after graduating from university, Jacob proposed to Emily in a heartfelt, intimate setting. Emily, you've shown me a world I never knew existed, a world of genuine love and compassion. I see myself with no other person but you. Emily, I love you, and I want to do this with you. Will you marry me? He asked, holding a beautiful silver ring. With joy in Emily's eyes, she said yes. I'll marry you, Jacob, she said. They embraced each other and told their parents about it. Though Jacob's family was not in full support of it, but they couldn't stop their son. Jacob and Emily began to plan their wedding. Their wedding was a blend of their two worlds. Held in the garden of Harrison's estate, it was an elegant affair, yet intimate and personal, reflecting Emily's simpler taste. Despite the initial awkwardness between their families, the day was filled with love and joy. However, the challenges began soon after their honeymoon. Jacob took on a leadership role in his father's company, which demanded long hours and intense pressure. Emily, who had become a school teacher, found herself alone more often than not. Jacob, I understand you're busy, but we need time together, Emily would say, frustrated. I know, Emily, but the company needs me. This is important for our future, Jacob would reply, torn between his responsibilities and the love for Emily. Their different upbringings also led to misunderstandings. Emily, who grew up with limited means, was frugal and cautious with money, whereas Jacob, accustomed to a life of luxury, often didn't see the need to worry about expenses. Jacob, we don't need to spend so much on vacation. We can have just as much fun with something simpler, Emily would argue. I want to give you the best, Emily. You deserve it, Jacob would always respond, genuinely wanting to make her happy, but not fully understanding her perspective. As time went on, the pressure and misunderstanding took a toll in their marriage. Arguments became more frequent, and both Jacob and Emilia began to feel the strain of their different backgrounds. One night, After a particularly heated argument about Jacob's late work hours, Emily broke down. Jacob, I feel like we are growing apart. We are not the same people when we fell in love. Jacob's heart ached seeing Emily so distraught. Emily, I love you more than anything, but I need you to understand that we need to build a future for our unborn children, Jacob said. But your absence is making us drift apart, Emily replied. I don't care about all this. We have enough already. If making money would tear us apart, then I would rather we didn't. Jacob was angered by her words. Why would you say such a thing? I'm working my ass out for both of us and you say this? Are you programmed for suffering? I never experienced suffering in my father's house, and I want to give my children and my wife the best life I can. At the expense of my happiness? Emily asked. Jacob ignored her and lay down on the bed. The next morning, Emily went to her mother's house to discuss the situation. Her mother advised her to be patient with her husband, communicate with him, and be as understanding as possible. Coming from a wealthy home and a respected home, it is necessary. The rich wants to get richer. Talk to your husband. The Jacob I know loves you and would listen. Marriage is not a bed of roses. For you to have a beautiful and peaceful family, you must compromise, tolerate, and listen, her mother said. She also advised Emily not to take her marriage problems to outsiders, but settle their differences themselves. That evening, Emily went home, prepared a delicious meal for her husband, and wore her favorite nightgown in his favorite color. When Jacob returned home, he was surprised to see the dining table beautifully decorated with candlelight and his favorite food served. Emily walked up to him, removed her silk, kissed him, and apologized for the previous night. She told him she had thought about everything and now understands better. Joshua took the opportunity to tell her that he had also reflected on their conversations and had realized he had been too hard on her. He admitted his absence and promised to make things work better between them. With renewed commitment, Jacob and Emily's relationship flourished. They found joy in little things like cooking together, dining together, taking evening walks, and simply being present for each other. They learned to blend their backgrounds into a harmonious life, appreciating the strengths each brought to the marriage. Jacob's family began to see the positive influence Emily had on their son. Margaret, in particular, grew to respect Emily's strength and dedication. Emily, I've been so hard on you, and I'm sorry. You've made Jacob a better man, she admitted. Thank you, Mother. I love Jacob a lot, and I want the best for him, Emily replied, touched by her mother in law's words. Emily's family, too, saw the positive changes in her life. You seem so happy, my daughter. I'm glad you found someone who loves you and makes you happy, her mother said during the family gathering. I am, Mother. Jacob and I are building a life together, and it's everything I ever dreamt of, Emily responded. A few years into their marriage, Jacob and Emily welcomed their first child, a beautiful baby girl they named Grace. The arrival of their daughter brought a new dimension to their lives and further strengthened their bond. Parenthood came with its own set of challenges, but Jacob and Emily faced them together. They supported each other through sleepless nights, diapers change, and endless demands of raising a child. One evening, Jacob assisted in bathing Grace. He decided to do it alone while Emily sat and helped out. Jacob, you're such a wonderful father. Grace is so lucky to have you, Emily said. Jacob smiled and said, you're a wonderful wife and a mother, and she's so lucky to have you as a mother. Jacob kissed her forehead. They created a loving and nurturing environment for Grace. Jacob ensured that Grace had every opportunity and resources she needed, while Emily instilled in her the values of humility, hard work, and compassion. As the years went by, Jacob and Emily's love continued to grow. They faced life ups and downs with resilience, always finding strength in each other. Their different background, once a source of conflict, had become a source of strength, allowing them to build a rich and fulfilling life together. Grace grew up in a home filled with love, respect, and understanding. She inherited her father's ambition and her mother's kindness, becoming a well rounded and compassionate individual. One evening, as they lay together in their bedroom, Jacob took Emily's hand. "We have come a long way, babe, haven't we?" he asked. "Yes, we have, babe, and I wouldn't change anything at all," Emily replied. "Thank you so much for bringing joy and satisfaction into our lives. Myself and our daughter love you so much." Jacob kissed her hands and said, "You and Grace are my life. You both are the reason I live. I would always love and cherish you both." Their love story was a testament to the power of understanding, compromise, and unwavering commitment. Despite their different upbringing, they had built a life filled with love, happiness, and shared dreams. Thank you so very much, guys, for watching. Hope you liked the story. Please do also like, share, and subscribe to Substance TV for more amazing stories. See you guys in my next video. Until then, stay splendid.